Hey everyone! Today we're going to be looking at learning disabilities with a focus on dysgraphia. My name is Samantha and let's meet the rest of our team. Here we have in our team Shalene, Camila, and Ikra. Today we will discuss learning disabilities, strategies for a classroom teacher, dysgraphia, and strategies to aid students with dysgraphia. We're going to have a packed presentation today, so expect to learn a lot of great things. Now to start us off, we have Shalene talking about learning disabilities. Shalene, take it away.
So what is a learning disability? One definition of learning disabilities describes it as specific neurological disorders that affect the brain's ability to store, process, retrieve, or communicate information. Having a learning disability does not mean that an individual has a lower intellect. Rather, their learning disability hinders their ability to achieve academic success. There is usually a discrepancy between a student's cognitive ability and their academic grades. Each individual is incredibly unique, and their learning disabilities will affect their performance areas in various ways. However, all individuals with a learning disability have the commonality that they have difficulty in dealing with information, specifically language-based information. The Learning Disabilities Association of Canada states 1 in 10 Canadians has a learning disability. They range in severity and may interfere with the acquisition and use of one or more of the following: oral language, reading, written, mathematics. Learning disabilities not only affect an individual's academic ability, but also affect their socio-emotional skills and behavior. They often coexist with other conditions including attentional, behavioral, emotional disorders, sensory impairments, and other medical conditions. Learning disabilities usually follow an individual into adulthood. People do not grow out of them but learn how to effectively manage their disabilities. Experts have not pinpointed exactly what causes a learning disability. However, research points towards genetics and heredity as one of the main factors. Problems during pregnancy and birth, as well as incidents after birth, such as head injuries, nutritional deprivation, could also be causes. Culture, language differences, inadequate instruction, and socioeconomic status can impact a learning disability but play no role in causing one. Individuals with learning disabilities have difficulty in processing language. A student may have trouble comprehending what is verbally expressed to them or with reading written language. They may also struggle with communicating their thoughts verbally or in written form. Poor memory for learning and receiving new information is another characteristic of learning disabilities. A student with a learning disability might have no issues with learning and understanding a new idea or memorizing it at the same pace as their peers. However, the next day they will have difficulty recalling the information they previously learned. Some children with learning disabilities have trouble with socializing due to their poor memory. They often mistakenly forget previous social mishaps and continue to repeat them. Another characteristic is trouble with metacognition. This means that students with learning disabilities have trouble monitoring their own performance and understanding their thoughts. They struggle with studying, remembering class requirements such as homework, and working on a project till it is complete. Many students who have a learning disability do not understand what constitutes as completeness. They may turn in their homework and only have a quarter of it complete. This is not because they are lazy, defiant, or cannot do it, but because they misinterpret what constitutes as fully complete. Another characteristic of learning disabilities is poor time management. A child with a learning disability is often unaware of time, and they do not understand the construct of how time is organized. They may feel pressured to complete a task in the amount of time given. A learning disability is identified through teamwork. Educators, parents, and sometimes professionals all work together using observation, curriculum-based assessment, informal tests, and sometimes standardized formal tests. There is no one solid test to identify an individual with a learning disability. Rather, there are a variety of factors that are involved while assessing a child. Now we will have Camila examine some strategies and implications for teachers in the classroom.
Created using Powtoon.
Thanks, Shalene. Now that we have an overview of what a learning disability is, we can start thinking about the implications on teachers and strategies that can be implemented in the classroom. The first is that teachers must implement a universal design for learning in their classroom. This means designing an environment and providing materials that are accessible to a broad range of students. Teachers should aim to provide learners with various forms of representation, action, expression, and engagement. Next, teachers must implement differentiated instruction. Students with learning disabilities may particularly benefit from assessment and instruction that is differentiated to take strengths, interests, learning styles, and readiness to learn into consideration. The following elements can be differentiated. For example, the content of learning, which is what the students are going to learn and when, the process of learning, which are the types of tasks and activities, the products of learning, which are the ways in which students demonstrate learning, and the learning environment. It is also important for teachers to show empathy and understanding. They must come to understand the particular nature of the learning disabled student, as each one is unique. They should not attract attention to the student's particular need or create a negative stigma, neither should they use it as an excuse for the child or underestimate their learning potential. Teachers have to give positive and frequent feedback. Prompt feedback allows time for students to reflect and improve where needed. Feedback helps students to stay on task and reinforces their confidence to achieve academic success. Children with learning disabilities are easily distracted and tend to procrastinate on their tasks. Constant reinforcement and positive feedback will encourage the student to complete the task at hand. Additionally, it is important for teachers to use a consistent and systematic approach. Consistency in instruction helps students understand the expectations that are needed to successfully complete their work. Since self-management may be difficult for some students, a consistent and systematic approach facilitates such students to stay on task. Graphic and visual support cannot be understated. Visual support such as the use of Assistive technologies are highly effective in accommodating the different learning styles of students with learning disabilities because they provide adaptations and applications for previously inaccessible learning opportunities. They allow for increased independence, increased motivation, self-esteem, and allow children to reach their full potential. Teachers may also give time allowances. Students with learning disabilities often have difficulties in time management and therefore have difficulties in meeting due dates. As a result, instructors should be mindful that such students may need additional time to complete certain tasks. Teachers should give verbal cueing to support the student's understanding of the material by drawing attention to the lesson. Instructors can develop signal words with the student to help them voice their concerns easily and also to help them stay on task. Learning environment, teachers may displace distractive items away from the student's view. Also, students that are easily distracted benefit from selective seating arrangements, such as being placed closer to the teacher and to the front of the room. Teachers should model self-monitoring skills and create an environment where children are able to keep track and modify their own behavior and learning to give them a certain level of autonomy. One of the most important methods to give students with learning disabilities is the opportunity to identify their own strengths and areas of difficulty. Some tools that can help them become autonomous are checklists, frequent reflections, discussions, and role-playing. Now we're going to have Sam give us an overview of dysgraphia.
Created using Powtoon.
Thanks, Camila. And now I'll be talking about an overview of dysgraphia. So, what is dysgraphia? Dysgraphia is a learning disability that affects a student's written expression. A student with dysgraphia might have trouble handwriting, spelling, or expressing their thoughts or ideas on paper. Students with dysgraphia can struggle with their fine motor skills as they have trouble holding a pencil or in organizing letters on a line. Other writing tasks such as organizing their thoughts into written work can be very difficult for them. When a person begins to write, their brain recalls information from their memory, organizes their thoughts, and writes. A person with dysgraphia has difficulty organizing information that is stored in the memory and struggles with getting their words onto paper by writing or typing. Thus, the product does not convey the message the child has intended. Now we will move on with Ikra with her strategies with helping students with dysgraphia.
Created using Powtoon.
Thanks, Sam. There are many strategies that teachers can use to help students with dysgraphia. One strategy would be to practice handwriting. It is important for students to start with single letters but progress quickly to copying words and sentences. They should also engage in multiple short writing sessions that use a consistent approach. It is more effective for teachers to instruct students to focus on penmanship rather than the pressure of writing content. Students with dysgraphia can improve their spelling by spelling words the way they sound. This can enable a beginner's writing strategy through minimal frustrations. Students should also keep a log of frequently misspelled words and error patterns to help them set goals and track their personal progress on these words. Alternatively, a sloppy outline is a great tool to help students struggling with dysgraphia. To consider all the factors in planning for writing, these outlines support students in deciding what to write, what strategies to use, and how the purpose and audience affect writing style. Additionally, teachers should give students a choice of topics or approaches to use in their assignments. Offering choice increases the likelihood that the student will see the assignment as relevant. Another useful method to help students who suffer from dysgraphia is by practicing sentence structure. There are 3 main strategies to practice sentence structure. The first one includes sentence combining, or saying the same thing in fewer words. The second one is identifying run-on sentences to break down into shorter, clear sentences. And finally, sentence editing to replace or add words and check for the correct use of writing conventions. Another approach to teaching students with dysgraphia is to make the criteria clear. Rubrics are one of the most effective tools for sharing criteria for written work with students. A useful way to get students to practice their revision and editing skills is to provide peer revision sessions. These sessions reinforce powerful writing strategies and create a community of writers who help and support one another. Lastly, it is beneficial for students who suffer from dysgraphia to have access to assistive technology. An example of assistive technology is voice-to-text software. This software allows students to say their ideas into the microphone, and the words are converted via word processing software into text. WordQ is a prediction software that allows for inventive spelling. It lets students modify word predictions to use specific vocabulary or topics. WordQ also offers a list of words with similar meaning to add variety to writing and uses clear text-to-voice feedback. The focus of WordQ is on providing the proper spelling words by allowing students to hover over the words in the prediction list and listen to them read out loud. There are many other assistive technologies and tools online that can help students with learning disabilities.
Therefore, this concludes that students with learning disabilities can improve their academic ability through strategic planning. However, specific learning disabilities need specific strategies to ensure appropriate assistance. Every student has a right to learn. Thanks for watching!
Created using Powtoon.